Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone. This is gonna be the spoiler-filled discussion on Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is book one in the Grimbones Saga series, and today we're starting with our Discord server Dragon's Library Book Club. So, guys, present yourselves and tell us what is your rating for this book, and a
Uh,
little bit, about yeah. Go on.
okay, I'll go first. I'm Laura. I'm the Reading Mushroom. That's my channel's name. I've been a bit inactive in the past few weeks because I've had a lot of university work to do. I read this book quite a while ago, actually, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I was kind of excited to see that this was picked for our book club and that I could get to discuss it with you guys. So I really enjoyed this book. So I would give it like a 4 out of 5. That would be my rating.
Okay.
Should I go
Lawrence?
next? Hi, my name is Lawrence from the channel Reading with Lawrence. I do book videos like everyone. And I really enjoyed this book as well. I gave it 4 stars as well. And it was really good.
Yeah, so I'm Allie from Book Binge, that's my channel name. And I honestly finished this book so recently. I even told them that I might not show up because I was that close to not getting it finished. So it hasn't really settled yet. I think it's a really good setup for the next book, though. So I can't really decide if it's a 4 or 5 stars. So I'll think about that, and maybe I'll say what I think at the end.
Cool. More to come. Well, I'm Chaz. My channel name is actually Chazam, so you can find me there. And I really enjoyed this book. Like Ali said, it's a great setup for the next book. Hoping to get to that eventually, and I would give it 4 out of 5 stars.
Cool. I am Gabby. This is my channel. Gabby's my channel. I really enjoyed this book. I've been gushing about this book in the Discord server. So yeah, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It became one of my favorite books, actually. So, and the setup was awesome for book 2. So I'm really excited to start it. So we were talking that maybe we could talk a little bit about the setting at first, kind of spoiler free to guide some people, and then go right into spoilers. What do you think?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Works for me.
Cool. So for me, at least, it was a very, very unique setting. I'm usually used to read epic fantasy, so I'm not used to be in a modern-ish world, like with cars and guns and everything. And this mafia vibes was really, really different. It's urban fantasy, and I used to love a lot mafia stories, mafia settings in movies, and I was really excited to get into this one. What do you guys feel?
Yeah, I kind of liked how it was sort of like an urban fantasy and that we were in the city the entire time. I feel like I really like those, actually. I prefer books that kind of stick in one general area, so you actually learn a lot about the area and you get into the politics of the area. I personally actually prefer that to books where you're traveling around a ton and you don't really get to feel like you know what's around you as well. I like it when we stick in one place and we really get to unravel what's going on there. So I really enjoyed that about it. And of course, the mafia vibes just add to it.
Yeah, most definitely. It was great for me on that too. I don't typically read urban fantasy, but this one just really caught my eye, and I had so much fun reading it. Now I watched a lot of old gangster movies, like mafia type movies. I've watched The Untouchables with Robert De Niro, but I never have seen the Godfather movies. Never watched them at all. So that's on my list of movies to watch. I've just never gotten around to it. But I know enough about that genre to appreciate the heck out of this book. Yeah, it was a lot, and you could tell she did her research too. In fact, there was a whole section at the end of the book, kind of an interview with her, where she talked about all the source material that she gathered information from, and wow, it really shows.
So for
Yeah.
me, funnily enough, I don't really like mafia movies. I don't watch them. It's just something that I don't appreciate for some reason. But this book, so I really like those aspects. I really like that's the strong family connection, even though it's very criminal because they're kind of criminal in a way. But I really like this honor system that you belong to the one family you belong to, and if you go against them, they will drop you. But if you stay on their good side, they will be there for you. And I really, really enjoyed that. I don't know why. Maybe I should join the mafia. No, I shouldn't. But I kind of like that. So.
Yeah, same. I'm not super familiar with anything mafia vibe or anything. I've never watched The Godfather as well, but I really like this book as well, and I love the feeling of the book, and you could really get a sense of the city and everything. I really like how everything was described, and yeah, the setup was really good.
I also like how they kind of call themselves clans, and we're following a very big clan, but we're not actually following the biggest clan. Which is the other one, and I kind of like that she chose to do that. So that she chose to basically follow the second most powerful clan, and I think that added a lot to it too.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
the other clan is the one that has been gaining power over the little clans. And I agree with Ali when she says that it's really cool to focus in one city. The world feels really contained, and we actually come to know the city really well. Like usually in epic fantasy, we're just like thrown into these huge worlds. And yeah, I think that was a really cool way to set them the book.
Yeah.
So I think like from here we're gonna dive a little bit into spoilers, a little bit, like all of it, actually.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
All of it.
All the spoilers.
Hey, Alfredo.
Hi.
Welcome to Alfredo.
He's gonna have lots of good opinions too. I know that.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing him.
They're gonna be like long paragraphs that we're really going to think about. It'll be great.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well, I have a question to go back with what Ali said, that she really liked that we were following one gang. I was wondering if you would have liked the book better or less, or doesn't really matter, if we were following both of them, maybe like a dual point of view with the No Peak and then sometimes having some perspective of the mountain gang as well.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
I think I prefer just following one clan because we get to dive really deep into these characters and the dynamics between the brothers, between the family in general, with the grandfather and all. I really prefer it because of that.
Yeah, so I agree with Gabby mostly. I think that it could have done one point of view from the Mountains clan. Like if we got the point of view of maybe like the pillar of the mountain, or maybe one person that kind of like represents kind of like where they're thinking and where they're coming from, that could work. That could be okay. But I think focusing mainly on one clan adds a lot to the story for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I
Hey,
do for the most part. I like having one.
Yeah. I liked it too. It really gave us more world building that way, I think, for sure. And I kind of wonder if maybe we won't get more of the mountains perspective in book 2. I don't know for sure. I haven't read a synopsis, but yeah, I bet we'll get more from the mountain in book 2. Just speculating.
So
Yeah.
I
also
so
think
too. No, go ahead.
that the mountain clan is the other one, right? I always get the names mixed up. Yeah. So I think that they don't really have that family kind of connection, because the clan leader, she kind of murdered a lot of people, so I
Yeah.
don't think she's that well liked. And I really, since I really appreciated the family aspect of the book, I think we were very well done, in very good company with the Nopi clan, because they had such strong family bonds, and I really liked that. So that was very nice.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it because having watched mafia movies, it's always a thing, like this over the top loyalty and like really tight family ties between all the family members. And when it's not like that, they resent each other. And I think that was portrayed really well here, especially in Hilo's character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and especially with what happened at the end. He had all this loyalty with Andon right throughout the whole book, and then at the very end, he's just like, "I don't ever want to see you again."
Yeah.
It's just that stark contrast of, if you're loyal, you're in good with me. If you're not, I don't know you.
Yeah, that was I was really unsettled by that. I was like, oh my god.
And I think a lot of it had to do with like peacetime versus wartime. Like I think if that whole scene that you're referring to, Chaz, which is towards the end of the book, happened in peacetime, it would have been a lot different. It was kind of like you're abandoning your family and it's time of need. If you want to do something else with your life while there's things going on that are threatening your family. So
right.
I think that adds a lot to it too.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that might have turned out a whole lot different. You're right.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of similar to Shay's circumstances, because she got to walk away and they were not at war. And with Andon, it's like, yeah, we're at war, bro. So it's not a good time to leave, maybe.
And she came back when...
Yeah, she came back and she was accepted back into the clan, right? They were like, not that nice that you left, but we'll take you back. And with him, I think he will come back in the second book. But
I think so.
I think so too.
I'm sure Andon is gonna show up again, and maybe not gonna be a Greenbone, but yeah, like get into all the war that's going on, because now we left into a sort of in between, like peace. I don't know how it's called in English, but it's like a stop to a war, like a time in between, like a pause.
Yeah.
But it's gonna break loose, like, of course, in book 2.
Yeah, you were feeling things were gonna happen in book 2. The way it ended.
I didn't want to be a weapon.
The Rage of Dragons makes its return.
Right.
We're kind of being haunted by
Rage of Dragons was a great first choice for us, because now we're always going to be able to look back at that.
Yeah. We'll always have the best I've seen. It's just...
So Alfredo asked, what do we guys think about the curiosity of choosing this a month, almost parallel to last month?
Yeah, I mean, it's so different because last month we read Rage of Dragons, and that was action filled, like there was no breaks, and it was like just all out ahead. And this one had a lot of setup and a lot of getting prepared for a bigger story and a lot of just looking at what's going around with you. And I actually think I prefer the Jade City way of doing it, because I do even though there's a lot of setup and it was a little bit slow, and it actually took me a while to read it. I was reading a lot of other books while I was reading it. After having read it, I now know that it's likely to pay off even more than last month's book did.
Right.
Yeah, and it has character work.
Oh yes, yeah.
Really good.
lots of character work and no cringy sex.
Oh, so far.
I mean, there was a little bit, but it was well done. It wasn't cringy. I found that, at least in my experience, women tend to write better scenes like that than men do. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
I don't know for sure, but maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Just-
think
Makes
women
sense.
can write cringy sex. Yeah, I've read a lot of, not a lot of, but one time I've read a very cringy scene where I was like, why does this exist?
right.
Yeah, I read
yeah.
one recently in a book. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was terrible.
No, yeah, women
Yeah.
write. I think women write a lot more sex scenes. So there's definitely cringy ones that are out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I skip those a lot. Even when I read romance book, I tend to just skip those. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
can
Alfredo's
be
right.
terrible.
It is a complete 180. Yeah, just absolutely completely different from Rage of Dragons, which is good. I think we needed something to save us after that.
Yeah.
So,
How do you find
Gabby, you were talking about how there is a lot of character work. Should we talk about some of the characters?
that was
Absolutely.
I was about to say.
Okay.
So, what was your favorite character? Like,
Oh,
For me, it's easy. I love Hilo. I think he's the best. I don't know why, because he's so he's a brutal guy, but he's very loyal, and he also has a soft spot in his heart. And I don't know, I'm in love with him. He's I don't know, he's just a great character, and I really like his character. I think all the others kind of paled in comparison, at least for me. So because I felt for him very strongly, and the others, I think they were fine, but he has a special place in my heart now, and I really like him. Yeah.
yeah,
there were so many. Oh, go ahead, Gabby.
no, like maybe we could talk about Hilo first. Like,
Okay, yeah. Good.
I personally, I really loved his character. I think he was my favorite as well, because he looks so superficial at the beginning, and then we get that he's really sensitive. His love for the clan, and he's kind of over dramatic sometimes with that, when he just like kneels down and screams to the sky all this oath and everything. And I really like how he's so loyal to his family, how he respects his grandfather. I think it's sort of a mafia thing. He respects him, like, even if the grandfather is an asshole to him. There's a lot to his character, and I really liked it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he really champions loyalty to the clan, to a fault even. I mean, that, he's so loyal that it tends to blind him, and it tends to feed his impulsiveness, because he is really impulsive. If somebody, like when they captured, well, they didn't capture him, but when they took Andon for a ride in the car there at the beginning, and he's like, where did they take Andon? We're just going to go in guns blazing. And Len was trying to keep him, no, just hold back. He's fine. I got the phone call. He's fine. But you can tell he's just like so loyal to everybody in his family that he just has a knee-jerk reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that about him. He let's see, what is it they say? He acts first and asks questions later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
when you
really
first
like
meet
that
him,
Oh, go ahead.
so when you first meet him, you think he's going to be this muscle guy who's just going to, act and not think about things. But the more you get to know him, the more you realize there's more than meet the eyes with him. So I do really like him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like how basically growing up, they have this plan. They're thinking that Land's going to be the pillar, and then that Hilo is going to be the what is it? The horn,
The horn.
and then Say's going to be the weatherman. And that doesn't really work out how they plan. So they kind of like trained them to be in those positions. And I think training them to be in those positions basically made them prepared for those. And I think it does show a lot about his character when he has to take over the main role and he has to step up, even though those aren't his strengths. And even though people aren't even sure, like even his own family aren't really sure that he can handle some of those situations that require a little bit more politics or a little bit more restraint. but he's still willing to take that on. But I mean, we can still see in the book that he has a lot to learn with that. He's already a little bit impulsive and a little. So I think his character development is very, not completely done yet. We're going to see more in the next book. I feel like we only got the beginning of the development when he has to take over this role he was never prepared for. And we're going to see how he's able to handle that probably more in the next book.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. It was definitely clear that he was not at all prepared to handle
He messes
the.
up.
Yeah, he messes up big time, and he was still trying to hang on to some of the roles of the horn, even after taking over the pillar role. He still kind of wanted to hang on to some of those things that he took care of as horn, but he realized quickly that he can't really do that. There's too much responsibility being the pillar.
I like that one short section where he's just trying to think of anyone who could make an acceptable pillar other than himself. And he just realized because of everything that's set up that he's really the only one who can take the role. But I think it says a lot that he does take it.
Yeah, I think it does.
I think
I think, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No.
I think that is really cool that he has a really strong bond with his fists and fingers. And even when he steps up as pillar, he still feels this bond, and he wants to be a pillar of his people, and he wants to be, even for the little ones, he wants to be there. And even though he messes up a lot and he has a lot to learn, I think that's really a valuable thing about a leader.
It is. Yeah.
What do you guys think about his relationship?
With his girlfriend, wife, they married, right? In the book.
Yeah, they married.
Yeah.
I want to see more of her, actually.
Yeah, I do too. I love the fact that he didn't, even though he's so fiercely loyal to the clan and to the family, he wasn't so loyal that he was willing to reject his feelings for someone who is not a Greenbone. He loves who he loves, and he's not willing to let that go just because she's a Stone Eye. And I really, really liked that, because I could see families like that. A lot of people in the family were really, seemed somewhat discouraging, like Lan especially. They kept bringing up, she's a Stone Eye. She doesn't really have a place in this family. And he's like, I don't care. I love her, and she's going to be my wife. And but it was, at the same time, it was really, really important for him to have Lan's blessing. So
yeah. I think the one scene in the beginning when he visits her in the middle of the night, and then they have they make love. I think at that moment I thought that he was going to be a total brute, because I thought that she was going to be this one-off girl, or the one that he visits from time to time to have sex with, and that's all that she's there for.
Right.
But like you said, I don't think that she was that developed as a character. So she does some things later on in the book when she works with Shay, but I didn't really get the connection between the two. So I didn't really feel that relationship that much. But maybe we'll get more from her, or see more from her in the second book. So I think I would like that, because I think she could be interesting, especially because of her background as a Stone Eye.
Yeah, and as for her work, she's a white rat, I think is the concept, that she is carrying
double
this
agent.
jade. Yeah, and I think that's really interesting, and I hope we get more from her in the next book.
Yeah, I like how she was trying to find the role that was most useful for them, even though she was a Stone Eye, and that she was really trying. I mean, they didn't just give it to her immediately. She had to kind of like ask for it, kind of like egg them on a little bit, especially, I guess she did that with Shay. And then I also like that Hilo never wanted her to get stuck in like kind of a lifestyle that she wouldn't enjoy. Like, he wanted her to be able to find a job that would be more fulfilling for her, even though she was a Stone Eye. So, I mean, that was one aspect where I was like, okay, this might actually be like somewhat of a healthy relationship, as much as it can be, given the whole situation. So,
So
I like
what
them.
do you
I
think
felt-
about?
I was going to say I like them. I felt their connection. I feel like I didn't see it a lot, but I did feel like they loved each other, even if we didn't really see their relationship.
Yeah. So let's move to the other characters. I mean, Shay, for example, what do you think about her?
She was actually one of my favorites.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not sure. I keep going back and forth. There's points where I want to say she's my favorite of all the characters, but then it's a real toss up between her and Lan for me. But I really liked Shay's character. I thought it was really well developed, and she brought that outsider's perspective. She was once an insider, and now she's coming back after having left the family behind for 2 years, and she comes back a lot more cultured. She has a lot more experience of the outside, and I think that gives her a much more nuanced viewpoint than the other characters have, because they've never left home, whereas she's explored the world a little bit. So I thought that brought some nuance to her character.
Yeah, I also liked her. I think she's my second favorite character. But I always felt like maybe she would have been better as the pillar instead of Hilo, because she is her character is much more fitting to be in this leadership position where she has to think through things and not just act on emotions like Hilo does. But because of her being gone for a while, and she's also a woman, and women are not that equal in the society, I think that's why she got pushed back and only ended up as the weatherman in the end. But I think she would have made a better pillar overall. So that's how I felt about her, that she was kind of born for leadership, where you have to be smart about things.
I agree. I felt the same. I was thinking about that too. She's much more level-headed, much more strategic. She's not nearly as impulsive as Hilo is. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but I agree. Once you said it, I think it would be she would be good in that position. She was probably my favorite. For me, it's between Shay and Hilo. But yeah, I really liked her. When we meet her, I thought she was going to be way more important than she does end up being really important. But when we meet, I thought she was going to be more present in the book. It takes a longer time for her to really get involved in everything. Mm-hmm. And once she gets involved, I started really liking her.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the inclusion of her character just because she was someone who didn't really want to keep being in the clan in the way of having literally a profession and working there. She wanted to do something else. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the family dynamics came out because of that. We got to see how her brothers reacted to her decision not to be in the clan. And, you know, Lan was a little bit more accepting. Hilo never really was on board with her being out of the clan, or not out of the clan, but out of working for it. Yeah. And then just seeing how she is always, like when she went to go look into the records at the mine, she was willing to help out. And then when she realized that it was not a time of peace, but a time of war, and she was the only person that could really fill that position well, she stepped up and did it. So I kind of think it kind of shows her being pretty selfless, actually, given that that's not really what she wants to do with her life. And she makes that decision herself to get back into it. So I think her character is actually one of the more complex ones in the book. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like that she is super self-aware. Like there's a lot of times in books when you've got this rebel, like that doesn't want to fit in the family, that doesn't want to do what she's supposed to do. But she didn't fit in the trope like completely, because I didn't feel it was like this, I don't want to, I just want to go out and by myself or whatever. It was like, it was a conscious, like really a conscious decision from her. And when she went back to the city, she still didn't want to be in the family business, and Lan was more accepting, yes, and Hilo not at all. But I think it was a really rational decision, but so rational that she didn't want to see the other part of her that felt really drawn to the family. She was she didn't want to be in the family business, but she didn't feel happy or fulfilled when she was deciding to do something else. And I kind of feel like Lan's death. Oh, that's the like the shocking thing, like the turning point, I think, in the book. Lan's death gave her sort of an excuse to go back, and
Yeah.
that, like, I think that's why it was so abrupt. Like she felt like she got an excuse. Of course, it wasn't what she wanted. Like, she didn't want her brother to die, of course, but like how abrupt it is. Like, she's stepping out of the car, going to the bank, and just getting all her jade back, and no doubt, and going back to Hilo. I think I really loved that moment. It was so powerful.
Yeah, I agree. It really was, and it did feel really abrupt to me. You know, I had mentioned that on Discord, but then I realized, well, she prayed for a sign in the temple that of what she should do, and that was it for her, I guess. So
Yeah. I think that maybe she felt like the clan was fine without her when Lan was still alive. But once he was gone, that was the moment she realized that they need her to succeed and not to just be annihilated. I don't know, but that she was needed. So that was the time for her to come back. But yeah,
Yeah, I
Lan's
think that's
death.
true. Sorry. I think that goes a lot with what Gabby was saying, in that
Yeah.
she doesn't fit that just rebellious trope. She cares about her family, never stops caring about her family, and is always willing to help out her family. It just wasn't what she wanted to do. So
Yeah, because even before, when she's asked to go to the mine and see the records, she does it even though it's not necessarily something she wanted to do, but she does it because they need her to do it.
yeah, absolutely. One thing
And
that
she's really close to her grandfather.
she is, yeah.
Sorry. She is really close to her grandfather. She was his favorite. And I think the dynamic like with the grandfather, who used to be the patriarch, the pillar, I don't know who had seen the Godfather, the Vito Corleone of the party. Yeah, and now he has dementia, and he's awful, to be honest. He's terrible. But she cares so much about him, so much that she messes up, like with Doru.
Yeah.
I really
she
want to
wants.
see her.
She desperately
Next book.
wants her grandfather to have some kind of connection to the real world while he's still alive. Yeah, and his relationship with Doru, sorry, he is really, really strong, and so yeah, that made sense why she did it.
the moment though that he gave his jade,
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a smart decision.
Nope. Sure wasn't.
I really want to see her go out and kill him.
Oh
Next
yeah,
book.
I'm really looking forward to see her in action, because she hasn't really seen any action. She's just looked at records and stuff, and I'm interested to see what she can do with some jade on her arms.
She actually did fight.
She did.
Yeah, she did fight. Yeah, quite a few times.
Oh no, I forgot.
Like when they slaughtered a group of the other clan with Hilo, she was amazing. And then she realized how many people she killed, and yeah.
Laura read the book a couple months ago. It's okay.
Yeah, it totally slipped my mind. Yeah, those details, they're just gone.
No,
but I remember
a couple months, I don't remember that stuff either.
Yeah, but I remember surprisingly much of this book. So from the overall themes and things that happened, because I liked it and it stuck in my head. So I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she's a really strong character, though. I was really impressed with that, and And Lawrence, I think it was you that mentioned how male centered the world, this world is, and she's really able to rise above that. One of my favorite parts was when that guy called the Pillar's office on the phone, and he was shouting at her, I demand to speak with the Pillar and everything, and she's like, you're talking to her. I'm like, yes, with authority.
Go for it.
Yeah, and the guy's just like, "Oh, whatever," and hung up. I thought that was great, but it really shows how strong of a male bias there is in this world and in that culture, really. And so I thought she was written as a really powerful character, and I love that.
I really love that moment when she was talking to Hilo, and he was like, well, I could kill your ex-boyfriend. And she says, well, I can kill my own ex-boyfriend.
That's all I need. I can take care of that.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Oh, and I said the guy called the Pillar's office, didn't I? I meant the weatherman's office.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not the Pillar. But you guys knew what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got what you're saying.
Yeah.
So shall we talk about the third sibling, Lan?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was
I
probably my
think
least favorite. Sorry.
Yeah, for me too. I think he was kind of bland.
Yeah,
and he didn't
same.
get a lot to do. So I think his story arc was like getting Jade and not being able to handle it, and then just die shockingly in a kind of super twisty twist that I didn't see coming, actually. So I was surprised, and that felt very sudden for me. So when he just was like, oh, and then he was dead, everyone was like, oh, hopes.
Yeah, that was pretty abrupt. I'll give you
Yeah.
that. I wasn't expecting that.
So for me, he started to become interesting when Aiden thinks he has the itches, and he dies like I think a chapter after. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Andrew.
I actually thought that whole line was kind of relatable in that, like, you have a situation, you have a position that you need to fulfill, and you have to keep up with it. And I think a lot of people can relate to being in a position where they have to keep up with it, and you just can't. And you have to put on a face. And I think him having to carry that extra Jade and not really being able to handle it, but he has to seem strong because it's important for a leader to seem strong. I think it was something that I could relate to at least a little bit. I could see what you guys are saying of him not being like the most interesting out of the three, but what they did give, I think, was actually kind of interesting. The whole trying to put on the face when he wasn't really strong enough to be in the situation he was in at the moment.
Yeah, I wish we would have saw more of him with the itches and everything. So
Yeah,
I really think it was interesting, his leadership, like really different from what you expect from a leader of a mafia clan. She was really accepting of Shay going like out of the business. He was really understanding, although he had like another thoughts when Hilo asked him if he could marry Wen. He was really accepting as well. He was really level-headed and diplomatic, and I think Hilo actually as a pillar is like in the shadow of Lan because of this. And I actually liked as well that he tried to stay strong, to look strong for the others. So because he needed to look strong, especially in wartime, like between the clans. And his death for me was perfect.
Yeah,
because I mean, not because I wanted him to die.
You're like, yes.
Yeah, finally.
I like the way that it was executed because it wasn't an epic death. Actually, it was really like he drowned because the Jade like was too much for him. Like he should have died in battle, like someone killing him. And no, he didn't. He died because he was weaker than he should have been for the clan. Like, or that's the concept.
Yeah.
For being able to carry the Jade. I honestly think it really propels the story in an interesting area because it's clear that he's the very best person for that position. He does it with both heart and strategy. Whereas I feel like both of his siblings are either, they have their strengths, but they don't have that balance as much. So
Yeah.
I think him going away was really important for the story to be more interesting coming up. So
yeah, it really threw an extra layer of suspense and chaos into what is already becoming a chaotic situation with the war brewing and everything like that, and then the pillar dies, and it just throws everything into disorder. So it made the story a lot less one-dimensional, I think, by throwing that extra wrench into the mix.
Yeah. But what I thought about his death, like you said, he had to put on a strong face for everyone because he was in a leadership position. But I always got the feeling that so there was no need for him to put on the jade because his strength was not like fighting people. He had very good leadership skills, and he was very level-headed and strategic and thoughtful, and that his strength wasn't with Jade. That was more kind of Hilo's thing, and that if he would have left off the Jade that he got or pretended to have it, I think that it would have worked out fine for him for a while at least, maybe. And that's why I thought, like, oh, you're so stupid. Why do you put that on? You don't need to. You don't have to. Just leave it somewhere and move on.
I think it's more for appearance than anything.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Like tradition.
Yeah. But it's so it makes me so, because I don't know, in my job I got a lot of leadership training, and I mean, they tell you lots of stuff, but in the end you have to work with your own strength and your own skills, and he does have those skills, but he just doesn't, he kind of is lacking in this one department, which is very important for the whole society that he is part of. But he would have done so well, and that's so unfortunate that he had to go through all of that, and still he didn't make it. Yeah, so maybe I did like him a bit, but it's now I feel for him.
Frustrating. Laura's frustrated.
Yeah.
I honestly think that point you're making there, that he had skills that didn't necessarily have to be fighting, didn't necessarily have to be wearing abnormal amounts of jade, just shows how much the pillar position weighs on somebody. Even if you have the skills you need to be a pillar, you have to prove that you cannot just be a leader, but you have to be able to also be better at everything that everyone else does.
Yeah.
To prove that you deserve to be the leader, which no one person is better at everything. But you have to seem that way in order to have that legitimacy. So I think that also adds to the whole reason he died, the whole reason that this all happened, the whole weighing down on him and being more than one person can handle.
Yeah,
that's
he's
true.
constantly in the spotlight.
Yeah. How you felt about Andon?
Oh,
I really liked his character.
I liked him too. Yeah, he's a powerful kid too for being he's essentially a half breed. From what I got from the story, he's not like a full. Yeah, he's the cousin that they took in, but he's pretty powerful. But
he channeled when that fight with how was his name? Gaunt.
Something like that.
The other horn of the other clan.
Yeah, that guy.
When he was fighting, and they have this plan, and then channels his energy with his jade to this guy, and it's so powerful, and he's so new to be a Grimbone, so I can only imagine what he can accomplish if he would wear more jade like usually, and he didn't make this decision, which I think it was really interesting, and it felt authentic and natural, because he has this past, this ghost about getting sick like his mother did because of the use of jade, and he is afraid that he would lose control because of that.
I think it's so interesting with him too. I totally agree with you, Gabby. But it's, in a way, you see how accepting the family is that they don't really treat him like a half breed. But in the end, being treated like someone who is full on a member of the family kind of intimidates him.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting family dynamic with him too.
And it's clear to see that he knows he's powerful, and I think that makes him afraid.
Yeah.
And so being pushed into being a greenbone because it's wartime, without really being sure if he wants that kind of power. It's one thing to graduate and learn all the information and get your stones, but it's a whole other thing to actually do the job of being a greenbone. And I can understand why that makes him afraid, especially after what happened to his mother. He's really afraid that he's going to turn into a jade junkie, essentially, like his mom was. And
his
so
mom sorry, no, I'm going to say his mom, and to see what happened with Land as well, because he was the one who discovered everything.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it impacted him as well.
Epic asked like about the magic system based on drugs, so maybe we could talk about it a little bit. Like, what did you think about the magic?
Well,
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mafia movies and drugs.
Yeah. I actually think that the magic system was kind of lacking because it wasn't very well explained. So they have the magic system is based on jade. So you put jade on your body somewhere, and then if you're a green bone, you can just channel the jade. Can you say that? And gain those abilities. But I don't think that they were that that well explained, because you can. I already forgot what they do. You can reflect things, you can strengthen your body, stuff like that. But we never really get a good introduction to the system itself. I felt like. So, what did you think? Am I wrong?
I think what you're saying is right, Laura, in a very real sense. And I think part of it is because I don't think the story was designed to be about the magic. I think it was more about the family and about the world, and the magic is just the part that makes it a fantasy story.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
But on the same token, it's not a very detailed and plotted out magic system, at least not in this book. But I think we get enough to make it really interesting and worthwhile, like we want to know more. And the displays of power that we did get, I thought were pretty amazing, especially when Shay put hers back on, and they went and attacked those. Took back that section of the city with Hilo, and then especially at the end with Andon. I mean, there's some really powerful things you can do with the jade. So, but you're right. It wasn't really detailed in telling you how jade works necessarily. You just kind of have to pick it up as you go along. But I really liked it. I thought it was unique, very different. I've never seen anything like it. It reminded me of, it's completely different than Mistborn, but it reminded me of Mistborn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, with Mistborn, they have to ingest the metals, and with Jade City, you have to wear the jade. So I found them very similar in that respect.
Yeah, I also think the powers were kind of similar, that they had like a kind of an equivalent from the Mistborn system. So I didn't mind that the magic system wasn't that well explained. So I didn't really care for the magic system. But so it was fine for me. I just didn't feel like it was that well developed overall. I don't know. just doesn't feel like a great magic system to me. That's very interesting, which I don't mind in the story. Like you said,
Right.
it's not the main focus. It's just there to give the fantasy aspect of the book a go. So
I agree, Laura. I didn't really see it as a like really fascinating magic system, but I think that, you know, I agree also that it wasn't a main focus. So, I mean, I did like wearing the jade. I liked how they talked about jade a lot, and I like jade being a commodity and how finding jade, and when they're trying to see if the other clan had taken too much jade. And I think the idea of when you kill your enemy, you wear their jade and all of that's cool. I've just said jade like 20 times.
Yeah.
But as far as the magic system itself, it's fine.
Yeah. I read somewhat. The author writes more science fiction books, and so she wanted to create the magic system with like a scientific approach more than anything else. And I feel you could tell because of the way they use jade and everything. And I compare it to Allomancy as well in my review. I thought that was the closest thing you could relate it to.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I remember that. I remember reading that she wanted that scientific element to it. So that's she succeeded. It was really well done in that respect, and especially the drawbacks of it too.
Yeah,
it's just not this all powerful thing that you use jade and you're instantly powerful. It takes something essential away from you too. It takes away your ability to really be normal, because when you don't have the jade, you're constantly if you're around people who have jade, you're feeling the effects of it, and you have that withdrawal. So yeah, I thought that was really well balanced.
I loved it. I personally really love the magic system. Like, even if it wasn't like really well explained, but I think it wasn't the focus of the story. The focus was like in jade in general, how important it was as an economic asset, actually. And in the magic, but I loved it because the drug like aspect of it, the fact that they pay the price. I actually said in my review that I really like when magic has comes with a price, like you pay a price for using the magic. And also the aspect that they have to earn it by training for years is not just putting on jade and like just enhancing your senses and everything. You have to train really, really hard to be able to use jade. And it also comes with immunity, like natural immunity. For instance, Gwen cannot use jade because she doesn't it doesn't does any it doesn't do anything to her. And that's why I really liked it, like because of the jade withdrawal. That's like essentially why Anden is so afraid to using jade, because it can cause that jade fever. It was really common between like in people who doesn't have jade immunity, and I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. When you talked about how they have to earn that jade, I had to think of the one minor character who shows up from time to time. I forgot what his name was.
Beru.
Yeah. Oh, he was so hateable. I really dislike that guy. I think he will show up in later books again, because I think he's going to play a more important role. But oh my God, that guy.
You're talking about the guy that started out in the restaurant at the beginning, right? And then
the one that stole the jade. At the end.
Yeah. Is he the one at the end that goes?
Digs up the grave, and
that made me so mad. They're gonna go rob Lan's grave.
Yeah, what the hell? No,
he was a jade belongs to me, and he's willing to go grave digging. That was
a good setup for the next book, I feel.
Yeah, it was. But he made me mad.
I don't think that person could handle that much jade anyway.
Yeah, I wanted to get punished. It's the next book.
So Alfredo is asking the meaning of Shay and the Black Umbrella at the end. I didn't pick up on that, actually.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Me neither.
I was
wondered
gonna
about-
say I'm gonna give this to someone else because I was honestly reading the book so fast today, so I could even participate at all. Yeah, so I didn't pick up on it either.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
I
It's
don't
been so
remember.
long.
But honestly, Alfredo, if you have a meeting, like if you have like a meeting, tell us because
Yeah.
that's something
Yeah.
that you picked up on that we didn't, and I'd be interested to see what meaning you think there might be with that.
Yeah, you help us, please.
Let me. See.
Are we all trying to find it?
You found, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm
meaning that
curious
all of
now.
us
I'm like,
just
wait a minute,
completely
what?
missed.
Shay. Something.
Yeah.
No,
I don't
umbrella.
have my Kindle here. Cannot.
When Shay showed up minutes or hours later, she was carrying a black umbrella, which she held over him, letting the rain fall on her uncovered head as she stood next to him, gazing at the family's final resting place. Oh, so she has a black umbrella and she's covering Andon by the
Yeah.
Oh.
by
It's-
like when he's looking at Land's grave. That's
That
what it
seems
is.
to me it's just part of the mourning process.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would think, but maybe there's some deeper meaning. I'm not sure though.
I mean, I can see like it being that she's going to protect Andon and that she's there for Andon and she's like putting the umbrella over his head in a gesture that's kind of protective and caring. So I think we've seen that in her character being like a protective, caring person with her family. So I mean, it could have that meaning. I don't know if it's much beyond that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't find the meaning like further than just mourning with Andon and understanding him.
Mhm.
Like, because she is the only one like of her family that can understand Andon's decision of not being
Right.
part of it.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
like their relationship.
It was obvious that she supported his decision, or at least understood why he made the decision. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think like of the pillar of the mountain clan?
I liked her
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
She's
I
great,
really
yeah.
wanted
She's
more
a
of
badass.
her. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I
I
liked
wish we
her.
could have. Yeah.
Sorry,
I
I
really
really
like
lawn noise for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
She doesn't like show as a really aggressive, like this over the top like Hilo does. Like she's a badass. She killed like half of the like higher ranks of her clan to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
But she is so diplomatic and she's
Mhm.
so imposing. Like she's intimidating when she meets Shay at the temple, and Shay knows like she's not gonna do anything because they're in the temple, I think. But Shay is scared as hell of her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Her presence is so imposing.
And
I just like the
Andon
point
was
that- go ahead.
too. Oh, go ahead.
I just like the point that Hilo made when he was trying to think of like who else could be the pillar, and he kind of thought of Shay, and he was like, he recognized obviously the other pillar as a woman, but she had to basically kill everyone and show an enormous amount of strength to be accepted as a pillar as a
Yeah.
woman, way more than if like she were a man. So I thought that was an interesting element to just how much she was willing to do to be seen as legitimate and having that power for her clan. So I think a lot of it came from that.
Yeah, but also she's not that mindless brute who goes out and kills a lot of people. It was more like a business decision for her. So she was like, I want to be the pillar, so I have to kill that guy, in order to succeed. And then she did it, and she was like, yeah, that's okay. But like you said, she can hold herself in a conversation, and she's very diplomatic. So when she took Andon with her, I really liked the conversation between the two of them, because they were like very civil. Like I imagined them drinking tea and sipping their cups, and it's just kind of nice, actually.
Yeah, she was very nice. And part of me thinks that was intentional, because she knew how to get through to a young guy like him. Maybe that was intentional. Oh yeah, I like that, Alfredo. Oh my goodness, that's so true.
Yeah.
That's exactly how she is. Like,
Yes. Yeah, that was fantastic. Good call on that, Alfredo. Yeah, it's yeah. she knows just the right words to use for the situation she's in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And part of me wonders, and this is just a theory on my part, I wonder if she'll try again to recruit Andon after this, and maybe he'll do it. That's that's just a theory. But,
I don't think she will do it, but I think she will try.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it almost set it up to be successful when Hilo was kind of being dumb and kind of disowning Andon. I don't personally think it's going to happen that way, but it shows the potential for that to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Andon is too loyal to his clan, which he kind of left. But I don't see him with the other clan. I think there has to something else has to happen for him to join her. Oh,
He's
but I
loyal
don't
to
know.
his family more than the clan, I think. Like more to his cousins, as he calls them,
Yeah,
more than the clan itself, I think.
yeah,
True.
that's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but that would be sad if he. I'm too emotional about this book. I'm just recognizing it now.
I wondered too, though, since Doru went over to the Mountain Clan now, I wonder if maybe they might use Doru to kind of talk to Andon and try and convince him, hey, there's still a chance for there to be peace by uniting the clans, and you can help me with that type of thing. I don't know, but
Yeah.
because I liked that perspective of Doru's. I think his intentions are solid. I think he really does just want peace. He wants the clans to get along again, just like they did back in Call Sen's day when they were fighting side by side, as opposed to being divided. I think he sees that can happen again. So I liked his. I think his motives were good.
Yeah, I hate him.
Yeah,
I don't have strong feelings about him, honestly. Like, it might have been me reading the book too fast, but I didn't develop really strong feelings about him.
I think the thing with him is that, like you said, his intentions were very good. I think it's the smartest decision to go for peace. But in the context of this book, where family is everything, he's doing so many things wrong, and I think that's the problem that I have with him, that he doesn't fit in this mafia world. Where
Yeah, I don't see the clans uniting. Like the amount of tension that it is, the aggressive approach that especially the Mountain has with other clans in the city. Like, I don't see the Mountain being like in a agreement with No Pig as uniting as a clan in equal like positions.
Right. Yeah, and Doru is very idealistic, and I think that blinds him.
Yeah, we've been like for an hour here. I don't know if you want to talk another topic before going to like overall thoughts, or
you can run it whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't have anything else in my notes.
Yeah, whatever you like. I
Only thing I need is dinner, and I can eat dinner whenever we end.
Well, my overall thoughts are that it was great. That's yeah, I really like the unique setting. I think she did a really distinct thing in fantasy that I'm not used to see that, and I really think not many people that read fantasy are used to see this kind of story, this kind of setting. The magic system is really unique when you think about it as a drug. Also, the character work is amazing, and I think it holds back. It leaves you with wonder to see where our characters are gonna go later in the series. And yeah, I really loved it.
I really liked it as well. I will say the beginning for me was a little slow. I felt like the setting took a little longer than what I would have wanted to. But once it hit like the 150 page mark, then I really got into it and I really liked it.
And when
Yeah.
Lan died, I think that was a turning point. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a turning point. Like
Yeah.
everything changed. It was like one moment you're setting the world, you're setting the characters, like there's this building tension, it's going to explode at some point, but you don't expect it to be like that.
Right. Yeah, that was very unexpected. Like he at one point, like he was feeling bad, and then it seemed like he was starting to pick back up again. He was gonna do away with those kids, and then all of a sudden he just faints and I don't know, that was just
Yeah.
unexpected. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
shocked too, but I think it's Laura who said it. In the end, it was fitting with the story.
It
Like in
was.
the end, it fits with the storyline and where she wanted to bring everyone. So it was shocking, but I liked it, I guess.
Yeah.
You can say you liked it. You don't have to.
Finally, he's dead.
Hey.
Yeah.
It
So
was
for me, it
cool.
was
Ding dong, the pillar's dead. Sorry.
And-
for me, it was like, very interesting to kind of relive the book with this conversation, because for me, it's been a while. And I think we talked about a lot of things that I had kind of forgotten, or that kind of slipped my mind. And I kind of just recognized or realized how I felt about all those characters, and that I really liked most of them, and that I felt kind of strongly about them, and that there's still many aspects of the story that are still in my head that I haven't forgotten. And I think I should pick up the sequel soon because now I'm excited again for the series. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same. I really enjoyed the story, all aspects of it, really. Even though the beginning was a little bit slow, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to following some of the characters in the next book, especially Andon. I really want to see where he goes, and Shay and Hilo too, but especially Andon. For some reason, I just kind of latched onto him, and I'm like, oh, I really want to see him go far and succeed. And so, yeah, I'm excited to pick up Jade War, and then I think Jade Legacy comes out the end of this year.
Yeah.
November.
I'm
I
pretty
think.
sure, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, so my final thoughts on it is basically I love the character work done. I love the relationships they formed. But for me, this was probably a 4-star book that does the setup for a potential 5-star book. I feel like next book is where it's really going to pay off or not. And I think that's when most of my judgment of like exactly where it stands is going to be solidified, because there's so much work done to set it up, and it's really, really good. Well done, but it all depends on what happens next for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well said.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 bathtubs, right?
Yeah.
4 out of 5 bathtubs.
Okay, so I think we finished the discussion here. It's been more than an hour.
Well, it's been fun.
Yeah,
It's been fun. I had a lot of fun discussing this book with you guys. We didn't discuss it so much in the Discord this time, I think.
that is true.
I finished it a couple hours ago,
Like
so
right now.
that might be partially my fault there. Sorry.
But we all
I
read it
not
at
very
different times as well. This one, we were all reading it at different times. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So that was all. It was a lot of fun. All the channels of these beautiful people are going to be linked in the description. So check out their channels. Thank you guys for watching and being here. And see you. Bye.
Thanks,
bye.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.